in. Well, we'll go ahead and start here in about a minute. People can settle. All right. Welcome, everybody. We have some new faces. We'll probably have a couple more people coming in if history tells me anything about how these things usually work. But it's good to be here. How'd you guys hear about me?
Facebook.
Facebook? Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Facebook. Okay. So most of you guys heard about me through Facebook. Well, I'm glad you made it. My name's William Wood. I am a hypnotherapist by trade. And my job is to help people with their mind and heart. Come in! Oh my gosh! Take a seat.
Thanks.
Anywhere you like. Front row. Like how lucky? How lucky is that? Yeah, I don't spit much, so you're probably safe. Woo! Yeah, just a little bit. I did have a professor in. Well, I guess he was a high school teacher. He was a history teacher, and he was very animated. And we all learned quickly to sit like 2 or 3 rows back because he tended to spray the ones up front. But you're all safe today, so there shouldn't be any real danger of that. But I'm a hypnotherapist by trade, and my job is to help people with their mind and their heart. So earlier today, I gave a presentation in the morning, and people asked me, well, what is it exactly that you do? And I'm going to sum it up in just like one little picture, and this should pretty much explain it. When people come in to see me, they show up kind of like that, right? Now, this could be a bunch of things, right? If they come from a medical referral, we might be dealing with some pain, or we might be dealing with a physiological symptom that responds to hypnosis. If it's emotional stuff, this could be sad, this could be hurt, this could be stuck, or whatever it happens to be. And what people want is they want to feel better, right? And again, feeling better could be any number of things. Come in! Hey, there he is.
Hi, everybody.
I know, we saved you a seat, so come on in. And so people want to leave feeling better. And my job is to help apply tools that will help cross the gap and get them over the hump, right? So one of the things I specialize in is I specialize in weight loss, and I also specialize in helping people get their goals. So at the beginning of this year, off weighing 227.2 pounds.
No.
Yeah, do you believe that? Who's like a little surprised by that? Raise your hand. It's okay. Yeah. So what happened is that I weighed more than I had ever weighed in my life, and I was already kind of mentally on edge because I was teaching people how to lose weight successfully, right? So I was, hey, want to lose weight, right? And so I was already like that. So one morning, this is January 3rd of this year, I was playing with my boy on the ground. I had this like loose t-shirt on and my belly was poking out. I was playing with my 12-year-old boy. And when I stood up, he poked me in the belly and he said, I didn't know dads could get pregnant. Brutal, right? Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. Yeah, that's brutal. I'm like, dude, Caleb, you're killing me, right? So I woke up at this moment and I realized mentally, and I said, I've got to do something about this. I can't continue to teach people to lose weight and be a fatso, right? And have this giant belly. I'm a guy, so like I carry it all like right in my tummy, right? And so today I weighed in, and my weigh-in was 169.2. Woo! Whoa! Yeah, isn't that crazy? So big change. So here's the question: what keeps people from crossing this gap from sad to happy, right? Or from sad face to happy face? Like in the gyms, right? We're going to see a big uptick in sales with the gym memberships, right? There's a new gym that I'm pretty sure is getting ready to launch for the new year, the Planet Fitness, right down the street, right? Everybody's probably driven by on Washington. And they're going to sell gym memberships because people want this kind of transformation. And what's going to happen to the gym? It's going to get real busy for about a month, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, kind of depending on the year of the gym. And then by the third week, like people have given up on this and they've gone back to their old life. What stands between us and transformation, whatever your situation is some sort of barrier. right? Some sort of obstacle that prevents you from doing it. Now, every once in a while, somebody has a really legitimate external barrier, meaning there's like somebody or something that stands in their way. But where is the barrier most of the time? It's in the mind, or maybe it's in the heart, right? And so what I do again is I specialize in giving people tools to help them change the mind and the heart. Now, hypnosis is my specialty, but I'll use whatever tool I need to that's honest, legal, ethical, and moral to get somebody from point A to point B. So in a nutshell, that's what I do. In terms of my training, I have more than 5,000 hours of training in hypnosis and neurolinguistics. And I've helped at this point, I did an approximate guess the other day. I think I've done about 15,000 hours of client work. So you guys aren't like gerbils or something like that. I won't be practicing on you. I'll be showing you some stuff that I've used with people over and over and over again. At this point, more than 1,000 clients in a one-on-one setting. But our goal today, the title of the talk was how to create emotional freedom, right? Now, I always like to check in with the class to find out what it is that you actually want, because you guys are the ones who showed up, right? Now, we've got some people out in internet land, right? Everybody wave at internet land over there. So this is being who knows where. And we usually get 30 or 40 people that'll show up online and follow it from all over the place. And as you see, I am mic'd up. So these recordings will just be out there for people to get help with. So if you're going to ask a question, just keep in mind it will be recorded, okay? And come on in, it's good to see you. Take a seat. Yeah, we still got some chairs left. So I want to hear from at least 3 of you about why you're here today. What are you hoping to get? And then I may actually change the whole direction of the talk depending on what it is that you actually want. I do have something in mind if nobody speaks up, but I'm really hoping to hear from at least 3 of you. So what'd you come here for?
More positive attitude.
Okay, a more positive attitude.
And now that you've talked about weight loss.
Okay, maybe some weight loss tips or something
yeah.
like that. Okay, we'll put weight loss.
About 60 pounds.
Yeah, I think that's about what that is. That's pretty close. I don't know, I haven't done the math, but somebody could do a quick math checkup. It's somewhere in that neighborhood, right? Higher math is, I still get stumped at my 12-year-old's math. I'm like, how the heck are you doing this thing, right? Anybody know what I'm talking about? You like lose the ability to help your teenager do the math. Yeah, you're like, I gotta go back and relearn this. I know I do this at one point, right? I did pass college on it, college algebra. So I did manage to make it through a master's in business without doing any kind of calculus, which I'm like super proud of. I don't even know how I pulled that off, but that was like special ninja level skills. But what else? So we've got, go ahead.
Anger.
Anger, is this to do what with it? To create it?
To stop it.
Stop it. Sorry, I'm teasing a little bit. So to stop.
Before you get so angry.
Right, before it goes like this.
Yeah.
Right, that's a nuclear explosion. It's not a tree. Could be a tree. At one point, I thought I wanted a career as a cartoonist, but that career path was truncated. This is about the limit of my art. Okay. Okay. So to stop anger, where does it show up? Does it show up at work? Does it show up at home? Does it show up?
Mostly home.
Mostly
because
at
that's
home.
where my work is too.
Oh, that's where your work is too. Anybody else identify with that? Maybe not anger, but some emotion. Raise your hand. Get a little emotion that pops out now and again. Right. So this is mainly at home. Isn't it interesting that the place where our emotions usually pop out is like around the people that we love the most, right? We're the closest to.
Because we know they still love us, even
Yeah.
if
We hope that they will still love us.
It might
when
lose
we're
your
all
job if you get angry at your boss.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So anger. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Who else?
Procrastination.
Okay. Procrastination.
we'll take care of that one tomorrow, though.
Yeah, that's right. I don't really feel like dealing with that one right now, so we'll do it later.
Something somebody else would say something.
Yeah, that's right. So procrastination. Hello, come on in. Oh my gosh, there's a seat here. There's a few seats just here and there. Come on in. And so we're talking about what we want to get from today. We're talking about the goal for today is that wherever you come in, that you leave in a better spot. right? And here's some things that we're hoping to get out of today. Is there anything in particular that you're hoping to get from coming to class today?
Techniques, maybe?
Some techniques for what?
Change your way of thinking
Okay.
or a positive approach,
Okay, so change.
No snacks, are there?
strategies or something.
So we can't put that down, snacks?
No snacks!
Dang.
Well, you know what, Vicki, we do have some, I think we have some Halloween candy.
That's okay.
left over.
I was kidding, I was
Since we're talking about weight loss, we
Yeah,
can bring up
okay.
some snacks, we can make y'all fat, and then it's like job security, right?
Let go of things you can't control.
Okay, a let go of things you can't control. So
So I was gonna say
that's a good one.
frustrations.
That is
Yeah.
good.
to let go of things you can't control. And now we're not talking about people. We're not talking about getting rid of the people that we can't control. We're talking about like internal stuff. Are we talking more thoughts or more
I'm
emotions?
talking more like situations like if your child has a boyfriend or something that you can't really stop, but you have to watch.
You can stop that.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
You just-
Or if you
Hello,
see
it's
somebody
nice to
go-
meet you.
Like
What are you doing?
mental
Cleaning my
stress.
baseball bat.
If you see somebody going through mental stress, but you can't really be there to fix it for them.
Yeah. Who has ever been under stress watching someone they love either do something stupid, right? Or maybe just have something really bad happen to them. Come on, raise your hand. I want to see it. Like everybody. At some point, like everybody but one guy, right? He's like, I'm not going to raise my hand. But like, that's okay. We all go through situations where somebody around us is going through something difficult and we just got to watch. Or we try to help and the person goes, right? And they go, don't want it. Don't want your help. And so then we're stuck just loving on the person and doing the best we can. And we got to live still with whatever emotional turmoil comes from there. So that's a really, really good one. Anybody else have any of this to deal with like right now that we're dealing with? A couple of you? Okay. Cool. This is a pretty good list. Anything else? No? I think that's good. So here's the question. It's like a Tuesday. We're like 2 weeks away from Christmas. You could be Christmas shopping, right? No? Right? It's all done. Like June. She was done in June, right?
She was.
She was done in June.
She was.
Holy
really,
cow, high five. That's
seriously.
like awesome.
Every year.
Every year. That's
I
amazing.
start in January.
Do you start in January?
She does.
Yeah. So we need you to talk to the guy in the back here about procrastination. You got that one figured out, right? Procrastination is an interesting one, by the way, because usually it is a negative feeling that drives it. We look at something we should do, and then a feeling comes up, a feeling of stress, anger, despair, oh no, overwhelm, right? That's what it is for me when I procrastinate, right? I mean, it's that kind of the same realm. So all of these things really have to do with what it looks like, probably two things. Positive attitude is mostly mind and a little bit of heart, right? Weight loss, I think weight loss is 80% mind games. Who else thinks that? Yeah, it's not the diet you pick, right? The diet's all work. It's keeping on the diet that you pick or keeping on the new lifestyle that you choose. Anger is definitely an emotional thing. I think procrastination, we just talked about that. Changing thinking, letting go of things you can't control. So I think you guys are in the right place, right? It's a Tuesday. You could be Christmas shopping, but instead you're going to get a gift that keeps on giving. Because my goal is that by the time you leave here, or by the time you're watching here in Internet Land, that you actually have a couple of very practical tools that you can use to go from where you are to where you want to go. Or if something new pops up, to be able to make that transition. One of the reasons I put on these free classes is that I want people to have tools. I genuinely like people. I'm in this business because I want to help. And so we're going to get right down to it, and we're going to cover some fun stuff. And rather than talk about tools, if you guys want, we can actually get to stuff. So let me just do a quick poll. Honestly, who is hoping for more of like an information dump where I just give you like science and facts and figures? Anybody? Okay, who's actually hoping that I like teach you something useful? Okay, that's what I thought. That's what it usually is. Every once in a while I get somebody raising their hand. I just came here for a data dump. And I'm a science geek, so you can talk to me afterwards if you have any questions. I can probably answer them if it's related to the stuff that we're going over anyway. But we're going to go through an emotional release process. But first, let me just share with you Let me just share with you a little diagram that I think is really, it's a useful way of thinking about things. If we're talking about changing thoughts and changing emotions. You have a thought. The thought generates an emotion. Happy thoughts generate happy emotions. Sad thoughts generate sad emotions. Your emotions will tend to lead to actions. Your early actions might be as simple as changing the way you breathe, or changing the way you stand, or changing your body posture. Your later actions may involve sad thought, sad emotion, Krispy Kreme donuts, right? Or double chunk chocolate fudge, Ben & Jerry's, super awesome, whatever it is, right? So, or for me, it's Haagen-Dazs when I get really stressed out. Anybody else do Haagen-Dazs? Any other Haagen-Dazs? We got one other Haagen-Dazs fan here. I have
Caramel cone.
caramel cone.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
Oh, that's amazing.
It is.
It is.
So the thoughts lead to emotions, emotions lead to actions, actions lead to thoughts. But as you see, it really could start anywhere. You do something, and that something generates an emotion, which generates a thought, which loops back in. Hello! Oh my gosh, come on in. We have a seat right here. I know, Virgo is amazing. We totally saved you a seat. Yeah, it's good to see you again. Yeah, it's really good to have you here. So what we're going to do is we're going to be working with it. We're going to be working with technology, I think, today, mainly in the thought and emotion range. So I'm going to show you how to deal with your thoughts and emotions. So as you change your thoughts and emotions, it will help your actions change. Now, your first actions that change might just be that your breathing changes, your body posture changes, and you start to feel better. And so you start to behave differently. Or it may lead to a really radical change in emotions. But beliefs are thought plus emotion. Change a belief, change your action. In fact, here's what I believe. I believe that beliefs always produce action. A belief that I am not safe leads to actions of protection or pushing people away, right? A belief that the world is generally a friendly place might lead you to be a more open person. So who knows, they have some limiting beliefs that get in their way of success in one area or another. Yeah, like all of us, it's like the human condition. Even sometimes what will happen as we're going through life, we'll hit one plateau, and if we want to move our life up to the next level of happiness or to the next level of financial success or the next level of weight loss, which would actually be like a step down, right? A step down in weight loss. But like, no matter what it is, there's like a certain obstacle that comes in the way. And this obstacle that we deal with is usually mind and heart, and that is belief. Change your beliefs, change your level, move your life to the next level. So that's enough about what we're doing and why we're doing it. Let's go ahead and dive right into some thought experiments. Is that all right? And so what I'm going to be teaching is I'm going to be teaching a guided meditation process that you should be able to do on your own. Yeah, woohoo! Isn't that awesome? Yes. Who here has done guided meditation before? Raise your hand. Who has not? I actually do want to know this, okay? Okay, so we got about, that looked like about 50-50. We've got half the room who has, half the room who hasn't. And guided meditation is basically helping you guide your thoughts, is what I'm going to do. And anytime we do a guided meditation one-on-one in a class, it's a little bit tricky because people will process things slightly differently. And so what that means is if you just absolutely can't do what I'm asking you to do, do your best, and then come back around and ask me like, hey, I have time with this or that. I am going to ask you to visualize I want to see by a show of hands, and I want you to be honest. Everyone, for 2 seconds, close your eyes, and I want you to imagine either your mother's face or the face of one of your children or one of your pets or something like that. Just something or someone very familiar. And when you've got that, open up your eyes and let me know that you've done that. Okay. Okay, good. Was anybody unable to do that? Okay. How many of you got like an HD picture of your loved one? Okay, we got 1, 2, okay, 3. So we have 3 in a room of, what do we got here? 12, 13, something like that ish.
13.
13, 14. So in a room of 13, 14, we have 2 that do HD. I sometimes do HD, but most of the time I do kind of blurry images. Who did kind of a blurry, fuzzy image? Okay. Who did no image? Did we get any no images? One no image. How did you think about it? I'm just curious how you represented it. There's no wrong answer.
It wasn't really like an image, it's just a thought.
More of a thought.
Mhm.
Okay, good. That's good for me to know. Thank you for sharing. So usually in a group this size, I'll get one person who doesn't make images, at least initially. That may change. Okay, may not too. And whatever happens is totally fine. Do you have is it easier for you to like hear things or just kind of get a sense for them or something like that? Which one do you do better? Like if you're imagining things, how do you imagine?
In my head.
In your head? Okay. So do you talk to yourself about it? Do you hear things?
Yeah.
You talk to yourself. Okay. Okay, good. So I'll keep you in mind. I'm going to do my best. But if you can't do something I'm asking you to do, just think about it. Do your best. Is that all right? That's normal in a group this size. So we're going to go through a couple of exercises. I'm going to grab a chair. And we're going to go ahead and do this. If you're at home watching this, as long as you're not, you probably shouldn't be watching this if you're driving anyway, right? But like if you're at home, and somebody will be doing it. Somebody will be doing it. Somewhere in the world will be driving on the freeway watching me, going, I'm gonna multitask. Just don't do the meditation exercises while you're driving. Okay? That's a bad idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a grounding exercise first. And so I'm going to teach you the first process. The first process I call the CAPE process. That's just to help you remember it, okay? And you don't need to go into a deep, dark trance or to like disappear to have this happen. This is just kind of a mild grounding, centering exercise. So CAPE stands for centered, aware, present, and expanded awareness. And I'll explain expanded awareness once we get there. So centered, aware, present, and expanded awareness. So go ahead and put your feet flat on the floor. Put your stuff down if you've got it. And you want to sit relatively upright for this. You don't need to be in an uncomfortable posture. When I do this, I like to sit a little bit more towards the front of my chair with my feet flat on the floor. What I want for this particular process is I want the ears over the shoulders and the shoulders over the hips and hands somewhere comfortable in the lap, whether they're palms up or palms down, just however you're most comfy. You want your spine relatively straight for this, but again, comfortably so. If you have a little bit of a jog in your spine or something like that, just be cautious. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take about 2 minutes just to get centered, aware, present, and then to expand or to open up our field of awareness. So rather than going inside, I'm going to ask everybody to kind of go outside. And that's what it means to expand the awareness. So it helps to kind of fix your eyes on a point in the wall or the ceiling. I'm going to get over to the side just a little bit and make sure I'm staying up here so that everybody can not fix their attention on me, but just kind of fix it up here somewhere. And we're going to start off by centering the breath. There's no real right or wrong way to do this, but just start paying attention to your breath in a way that centers the awareness. Try to slow the body down and just become still. Some people will center their attention down at the belly button, just below the belly button. Just really connecting with your body. And now becoming aware. Becoming aware of your entire body first. Just scan your body from the top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes. Just become aware of all the space that you occupy, all of the space that is you. I mean, noticing your hands, noticing your feet, noticing your belly, your bum, whole body. Now become present. There's many other things that may be going through your mind. Just invite them to move off to one side and bring your attention fully into the present moment. Sometimes it helps to focus in on your breath. as you do that. And just take about 30 seconds just to become fully present, paying attention to the now. Now, rather than focusing the awareness, we're going to expand it out. So just while you maintain this light level of relaxation, let's start with, if your eyes are open, let's start with your vision. Keep your eyes fixed on one point, but open up your attention into your peripheral awareness. Allow yourself to see as much of the room at once as you can. And now with your hearing, just reach out with your hearing and see what other noises you can hear. Can you hear the hum of the lights? Can you hear the slight murmur from the room next door? If you really have good ears, you might be able to hear the road noise. There we go. Just allow all of that. If you reach way out with your hearing, you may even be able to hear the silence behind the noise. There you go. Good. And now just everybody, we're going to have you return your attention back to me for a minute. We're going to debrief the process. This is not the process for emotional release, but this is the preparatory. This is the preparatory process. So this is the process that will get you started and get you in a good space to release the emotions. And then we're going to run the group through an emotional release process. But first, here's what I want. As a helper, as a guide, what I need to know is I need to know how you guys are responding to this, right? What happened? And whether it was profound, whether it wasn't that profound, whether it was hard to do, whether it was easy to do, I want to know what your experience was like. So what was your experience like? So you relaxed. So if you were to scale your relaxation, this is kind of a weird question, but if 0 represented no relaxation and 10 was like a lot of relaxation, how much relaxation just came up?
Probably a 5.
A 5. That's a good amount of relaxation for just 2 or 3 minutes or whatever we just did. That's really profound. Who else had relaxation show up as a response? Raise your hand. Okay. Okay, cool. What else happened? What did you notice? Good or bad?
My heart rate slowed.
You felt your heart rate slowing down. What was that sensation like? What did you notice?
Because I'm so used to it, I don't know that I can verbally say.
Mhm.
I just know that I slowed my breathing and my heart rate, and so I could feel my chest and my blood, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Nice. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else?
I was surprised about how I could hear when you said, listen for the
Sounds.
sounds. I thought, wow,
Yeah.
that's
We-
interesting.
Around us, there are something like, scientists estimate that in a normal office environment like this, there's something like 10 million bits of information coming into our five senses all the time. I don't know how they got that number, right? Like probably some computer guy that, figured it all out, right? But like there's a lot of sensory information that happens all the time. How many bits of information can we actually process? 10. So there's a factor of 1,000,000 that we delete. So sensory deletion is one of the functions of the brain. There's a part of the brain called the reticular activating system, and its job is to filter out what's unimportant and what's important. And so all the time, the brain's saying, not important, not important. Like, for example, when you woke up this morning, at some point, you all put on pants, right? Or you slept in them and you showed up here in the same pair of pants that you had on last night. But I know this because y'all showed up in pants, right? So you got pants on, and at some point, like the sensation of your pants was right in the foreground of your awareness because you put your legs in your pants. But then at some point, that information just fades out to the background, right? Till I start talking about it, then it's like right in the foreground of your attention. Same thing with the hum of the lights. Same thing, I had a buddy who bought a house right near an airport. And so and he was right in the flight path. So planes would fly overhead all the time. I went down to visit, I'm like, man, how do you concentrate? He's like, what are you talking about? Like he had just literally deleted the information. It's like, oh yeah, I guess there's like all this sound here. So one of the jobs of the brain is to delete information that is unimportant. And so when we open our awareness, as we expand our awareness, we become aware of a lot more. And we can reach out. Now, the interesting thing about this is that there's no real line to where our awareness stops. If we were outside and we were up on the side of the mountain just a little ways away, like how far could we reach with our visual awareness? Miles, right? And I think when Mount St. Helens exploded, they say that people could hear it like 300 or 400 miles away, which means that there may be sounds that we're hearing that are miles away here locally. Like when a plane is overhead, it may be 2 or 3 miles away, and we're hearing the sound, especially if they're coming out of, Hillfield, right? They're making lots of noise.
Trains down at the train yard.
Yeah, the train's out of the train yard, right? And so we may hear a little train sound that's miles away. So there's no real limit that I know of to how far we can see at night. When we look up at the sky, we're seeing starlight that's old, but that's also light years away, hundreds of millions of light years. We're going to be looking at galaxies that are farther away than we can even really conceive. That boggles the mind, doesn't it? That as a little teeny tiny fleck of dust on the top of a planet, we can see something that's just way, way out there. But not only that, the human mind has the ability to reach out with awareness that even goes beyond what we can see or hear. How many of you grew up in a place far away from here? Is it just me? Okay. I grew up in Alaska. Where'd you grow up?
Oregon.
Oregon. Okay, that's farther than we can see, at least, right?
We heard St. Helens.
Yeah, you heard.
I was
Okay,
little, but I
you were little.
heard it.
You remember what did it
Yeah.
sound like?
Great big boom. We could see it, and we were in Albany, which is between Eugene and Salem on I-5, and we could see all the way to.
That's a couple hundred miles, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You could see the plume.
Yeah, so we have evidence, right? We can hear things that are at least a couple hundred miles away. That's fascinating, right? You're the first one, I've used that example a lot. You're the first one that's actually heard it. That's super cool.
I remember it. I remember we were at a pizza joint, and they took us out back.
Yeah.
And that evening, and
Yeah.
it happened early in the morning, but we could see it, and then you could see the smoke in here.
Yeah. So right now, if you think about the neighborhood where you grew up in, for example, or some familiar landmark, can you send your awareness, your cognitive awareness, back home? I mean, you can't literally see it, but can you think about it? Yeah, you can think about it, right? I can think about the dirt road that I grew up on in the 100-acre woods, right? I'm like Winnie the Pooh, right? And so like I can think about all the trees and stuff, and I can think about it. Now I'm not literally seeing it, but my awareness can reach out that far. So let's just do a little mind experiment for a moment, right? If everyone does this, just close your eyes for a moment. And with your awareness, now this is using the inner eye or the inner ear, or maybe you're just getting more of a sense of it. For the one for you, what's your name?
Jennifer.
Jennifer, for you, you may not literally be seeing it, but just kind of send your awareness there, however you do that, okay? So just send your awareness out to some place that's too far away to see, too far away to hear. And see if you can expand your awareness or your attention to somewhere that is not here. And when you've got something, open up your eyes. That's right. I want to hear from a couple of you, just because I always think this is interesting. Like, where'd you go?
Capilano Suspension Bridge in British Columbia.
Okay, so British Columbia to a suspension bridge. That's cool. I'd like to see a picture of it.
It's gorgeous.
Is it gorgeous?
Mhm.
Okay. And did you get a pretty detailed picture, or was it more of like a?
Oh no, the rocking of the bridge and everything.
You got physical sensation, smells.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Pine, yeah.
pine smells. You got pine smells.
Cedar.
Some cedar. So you got visual input. Any auditory input? No. So not much auditory input, but lots of like touch stuff,
Yeah.
right? Cool. Who else got something? Who else thinks that's fascinating, by the way? Right? Just when you stop and think about it for a minute. Like we do this stuff all the time, but nobody ever stops and talks about it. It's like, holy cow, I can send my brain somewhere and I can feel it, I can smell it, I can taste it, I can touch it, right? Or some range of that, right? And we might be better at feeling things than we are at seeing them, or we might be better at hearing them than seeing them, or maybe we only see things. But however we do it, we have the ability to send our awareness somewhere and to recreate some of that experience, right? So someone else, where'd you go?
Cancun.
Cancun. super cool. I mean, if you're gonna visit someplace, like, might as well take a nice trip.
Yeah.
So it was the ocean. And if we talk about seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching, like what was there?
Well, if I think about it, I can remember the song that was in my head, but I was just remembering the color of the ocean.
Yeah.
And my brothers and, the air mattress we were on and things like that.
Yeah. Was it more visual? Was it more kinesthetic, meaning feeling based? Was it a little more sound?
No, not sound.
No sound. So very little sound. So we have two of you that do very little sound.
Yeah,
But-
just seeing mostly.
Mostly seeing. Okay. Good. One more person.
I went to my mom's grave
Mhm.
and it was more of a feeling and I could hear the cars on the highway and I could hear the wind blowing in
Yeah.
the brush.
Yeah. So you could hear the wind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you feel it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was sitting right there.
Yeah. It was like you were sitting right there.
Yeah.
Isn't this amazing?
It's amazing.
This is amazing. So the human mind is amazing. And what's interesting is we have eyes that can observe the outer world, but we can also have an inner eye. And with that inner eye, we can travel the galaxy, right? Or we can travel at least anywhere we've been. With the imagination, we can even reach on beyond that. So this first process, what it does is it's basically just priming the pump. We're setting up the mind so that it's ready to do the emotional release work that we're set out to do. So let's do this a little bit differently this time. What we're going to do is we're going to start off with the CAPE process, and then I want you to bring your awareness into a feeling that you've been having that you would like to change. Okay, now if you can't do a feeling, you can go into a memory or a thought. Now, I need to pause here for a minute, and this is as much for you as it is for the folks I've got out in the internet land. And that is that, like, if you go into a negative thought, there's like ranges of negative thoughts, right? So like, this might be something like little minor irritation. This might be mild anger. This would be like, rage against the machine, okay? This, for the class's purpose, at least the first time around we do this, I'm gonna invite you not to go here, okay? Does that make sense? Right? Or if this is trauma or something, like, don't go to your life trauma first. We wanna practice a technique on something small, and then as we grow our abilities, we get familiar with it, then we can start to tackle bigger and bigger things. I even do this with one-on-one clients in the office a lot of times. I say, before we go big, let's go real small, let's see how you respond to it small, so that we can adjust it, and then we can start to tackle bigger stuff. So if I were to rate like your negative thought or emotion on a 100-point scale, from 0 to 100, 0 being no emotion and 100 being a lot, I would say try not to grab anything for this first exercise that's higher than a 30. But if you can't think of anything like less than a 50, don't go over a 50, okay? Okay, we want to keep this on the smaller end, right? And that's to keep you safe, and that's to keep the person next to you safe too. Okay, is that all right? So they don't step into rage or sadness or curl up and ball on the ground. Okay, if you do that, I'll keep you safe. We'll get you out of it, but it's best to start with something small. Okay, so everyone put their hand up on their heart. Okay, I promise. Repeat after me. I promise to grab something small.
Grab something small.
Okay, that means you too, all right? So we're gonna go ahead and start off. Let's run through, what we're gonna do is we're gonna run through the CAPE process first. We're gonna expand out our awareness. Once our awareness is nice and expansive, then we're going to invite in an awareness of sadness, stress, tension, fear, guilt, shame, a negative thought, a negative memory, but it's something like this, right? So first off, before we do this, I want everyone to kind of think of what they're going to do. Don't go there yet, too much, but just kind of think about what you might want to grab. Okay, and give me a head nod. Okay, give me a head nod when you got it. Okay, and if you don't want to go there, don't go there, and just kind of give me a head nod anyway. Okay, right? And then say, yeah, I'm ready to go, but I'm not going to go there, not here. I'll just practice the process first. Because you can pretend to have something, and you'll still learn the process. So if you don't have something, just pretend you got something, and then we'll bring that awareness into it. Okay, subconscious mind is cool, and it'll grab a hold of something that you can use. Okay, something to keep you safe. Just make an agreement. Say, subconscious mind, I need something that can keep me safe and is small. And I'm going to pretend. I'm going to pretend I got something. It's a little itty bitty bit of anger. I feel it right here in my tummy. Okay. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to the CAPE process. I'll give you a little less instruction this time around. And everyone, go ahead and put your feet flat on the floor. Hands up in the lap. Fix your eyes on a point in the wall or the ceiling, or if you prefer to do it with your eyes closed this time, you can do that. There's no right or wrong, just however you're most comfy. And start the process by centering your breath, by centering your awareness. Just breathing in, breathing out. Just letting every breath connect you a little bit more to your body. Now become aware of the body that you brought to class. It's the body of today. From the top of your head to the tips of your toes, just scan your body and notice all of the space that is you. Just ground your attention in the present moment. If there's any thoughts of the future, the past, just gently invite them to stand to one side. Whatever sounds are present is fine. They're totally normal. Then go ahead and expand your awareness out. Maybe it's your sight, and maybe you're opening up your peripheral vision. Or maybe it's your hearing, and you're just reaching out with that sense of hearing as far as you can go. And I might even invite you just to use your mind to expand out your field of awareness even farther. Just reaching out as far as you can with the mind. For some of you, that won't be much farther than what you can hear or see. And for some of you, you'll be able to imagine a giant expanse that represents everything that you can imagine. This is the CAPE process, which is the process I use to prepare clients for this type of emotional release. Now, while you hold your awareness open, invite into your awareness some small irritation, some small sadness, some small fear, some small guilt or shame or something else, some memory, some thought, some emotion. While you hold your awareness out and large, just focus in on that. And as you focus in on it, notice how you represent that thought or feeling. Do you feel it? Do you see it? Do you sense it somehow? Do you hear it? There's no right or wrong way, just allow it to be there as some awareness in or around your body. And when you've got that awareness, go ahead and nod your head just a little bit so I know you're with me. I want to see that most of the class is with me. Good. Looks like most of the class is with me. So as you have that momentary awareness now, just invite that awareness out in front of you. And if you're just imagine it 20, 30 feet out in front of you, if you were hearing it, you would just push it out in the distance a little bit. If you're feeling it in the body, you almost take it like a feeling and turn it into a color, or sometimes I turn it into an imaginary knot because that's what I feel like a lot of times when I get an emotion. And I'll see that knot out in front of me. But however you visualize it, imagine it, think about it is fine. And now hold your awareness open. Hold it open. Now while you breathe in and breathe out, just imagine that feeling, that thought, that representation dissolving. However you're imagining it, just imagine it dissolving, melting, almost like every breath you take allows it to just dissolve into the field of your awareness. Every breath dissolving a little bit more. And we're all going to go at a little different pace here, so just follow your own pace, just allowing it to dissolve, to disappear into the field of your expanded awareness, and a little bit more with every breath. And when it's completely dissolved, go ahead and open up your eyes and bring your awareness and attention to the outside world, giving other people space to take as long as they need. Knowing that we're all going to go at different paces here. That's right. Good. That's right. Take another few seconds, get as much as you can. And this would be what I call the problem dissolver, right? And it's a little technique that I created based on a meditation practice. And I've been using this for about 2 years, 2.5 years. And this is step one. Now there's other things that we're going to do with it. But before we go on, I want to hear from everybody, or maybe not everybody, but from a few of you at least, what happened, right? What was your experience like? And I expect that in a group this size, we're going to have different experiences. Some people have a really profound experience, and some people a little mild experience, and some of you couldn't do it, right? That's normal in a group like this. So somebody share with me, what just happened?
I couldn't do it.
Okay, you couldn't do it. What stopped you from doing it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I was, listening to you and doing everything and thinking about everything that I couldn't do.
What couldn't you do?
I actually couldn't come up with something
Something to do.
Yeah.
I know, isn't that interesting? I thought that might be the case when I was watching your body language a minute ago. Okay. So you had a hard time identifying a problem.
Right.
So you kind of pretended to go through the process, but when it came time to find something, you're like, I can't find anything.
Well, I actually could, like you said, fix something and kind of pretend.
Kind of pretend.
And I did that, but it couldn't, I couldn't see it, I couldn't hear it, I couldn't be aware of it, I couldn't really do anything with it.
What was your awareness like? When you brought it up, what was the awareness like?
I was trying to become aware. It was.
You never brought it into your awareness then?
Not really.
Not really. It doesn't dissolve if you can't find it. So in your case, you may have a hard time
In the pretending,
in the pretending.
Pretending.
Yeah.
So it wasn't.
It was a little hard for you. It was hard for you, and that was maybe principally because you couldn't find anything. So thank you. That's an interesting experience. Okay. Who else had an interesting experience?
Mine was a test that I didn't do well on. And
Okay.
when I first thought of it, I almost laughed, which was weird.
Okay.
And then it just kind of moved farther. It was like going down the road. It just kind of left, went away farther and farther.
It left, and I'm hearing a little bit of an emotional response in your voice. So what's that about?
I don't know.
Is it a positive feeling? Is it a negative feeling? Is it just a feeling?
I don't know. It was weird that I almost laughed about it,
Right.
but I did want to do well.
You did want to do well.
I wanted to do well.
And right now I still hear it in your voice. Your voice is fluctuating just a little bit. Right. And so what's the emotion that, if you were to put an emotion name on it, what are you feeling?
Sad.
A little sad. Okay. Between 0 and 100, 0 being no sadness and 100 being a lot of sadness.
I don't know.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
I'm guessing like a 50. Is that about right?
Probably.
Probably about right. Okay. Just judging by how you're responding. Did you get sadder as it moved farther away?
No.
No? You got sadder when?
When I think about it, maybe.
So when you think about the test.
Yeah.
So the test emotion is still there. Did it start off at about a 50, or did it start off higher or lower?
I said lower.
So it started off lower, and then the more you thought about it, the more that it came up. Okay, so the second experience. Who else had a different experience? This is excellent. We're going to come back around to it. What was yours like?
mine, I could visualize it, I could see it going away,
Mhm.
but I felt myself pulling it back. But I
Interesting.
wouldn't let it dissolve.
I see two other people nodding their heads.
And I think part of it was because I knew that there's no way I can put it away. It's there. I
Uh-huh.
can't just cross something off without actually doing it, so it found its way back.
Yeah, so you have a rule in your head about not dismissing something until you actually check it
Right.
off from a list, right? Yeah, okay, good. So it like started to go away, and then you like pulled it back, and then you started to pull away, and then like pulled back, then you
Right.
pushed it away, then it pulled back. Okay, anybody else? Okay, you had the same experience.
Yeah.
Was it the same thing? Was it like a to-do list, or was it a memory?
No,
or-
mine's,
You don't have to tell us what it is. You don't have to share.
it's just that both my parents passed away 11 years ago.
Okay,
And I find that my sisters are taking that role
Mhm.
and I can't please them.
you can't please them. Okay, so we have some emotion up. Okay, this is bigger than like a. This is bigger than a 50. Well, I'm sending
It
you lots.
didn't feel like a 50 though until you just asked me about it.
Until I asked you about it, okay? So I'm sending you lots of love, okay? Now, this is level 1. Now, I'm curious, just by the read of the room, because this will help me decide what to do next. There's a whole series of techniques. So we've done 2. We've done the cake process, and then we've done the first one, which is just to dissolve it, which works really well for some people, and for some people, evidently, stirring some stuff up today, okay? So how many of you had and if you've got your phone, if you could, and this is just for everybody, this is not yours. If you could just check it and then mute it or set it to silent or airplane, that'd be awesome. It's not so bad now, but here in a minute when we do our next round of medication, you know, that's okay. But it could be my phone. My phone is probably on too. So for how many of you did the emotion go up? It got more intense. Raise your hand if it got more intense. Be honest. Here, I want to see. Okay, so we got 3 of you. Okay, for how many of you? It looks like 4. So I'm going to say 4 of you. For how many of you did the emotion go down? Okay, 4 of you. Okay, so how many of you don't know what happened or like nothing happened? You're not sure. So we got like 2 of you.
To me, when I
Yeah.
get into too much emotion,
Uh-huh.
then it's kind of like I go to I don't know what you'd say, I just kind of go to and I just float.
You float.
It's just,
Mhm.
I get in
A floaty
and that's
space.
how I escape my,
So this is an escape strategy. So you kind of dissociate a little bit, or you step back from it a little bit. Okay, cool. So we're going to add in a second layer to this. Rather than dealing with the problem, we're going to deal with rather than dealing with the problem, we're going to deal with the observing self. Okay, so this is an interesting thing. Everyone, hold up your hand in front of your face. Okay, look at your hand. Okay, there's a part of you that sees the hand, but there's a part of you, close your eyes, that also has the ability to observe the action of seeing the hand. There's a part of you that thinks a thought, and there's a part of you that observes the thought. And that awareness has a size, a shape, a space in the body. And so just while you think about it, see if you can find your observing mind. Notice what awareness comes up in the body. Size, shape, location, in or around the body. Some people will get a sense of something in their mind. Some people will get a sense of something in the heart. Some people around the body. There's many ways to experience this. When you've got it, open up your eyes and put your hand down. Okay. Good. So that was most of you. So from those of you that found something, I want to hear about it so that we can help those that are still searching for it, right? So who found something? Okay. Well,
Yeah, my head, top of my head.
you kind of felt something like
Yeah.
an awareness. Did you see something? Did you get more of a feeling? What was it like?
I sort of had felt it also, sort of over the crown.
You kind of felt something over the
Yeah.
crown of the head. Okay. Now I'm assuming everybody does this a little bit differently. First time I did it, I felt like I had like a little set of eyes behind my heart or something like that, right? Which is weird. I wasn't looking for that, but that's kind of like, boop, that's what popped up, right? Little point of light or something. So that's 1 and 2, right? Who else had something different show up? Nothing right or wrong.
Mine was in my head, shoulders, which I
Kind of,
already knew it, yeah.
yeah, kind of back here. And what was the representation like, or what was the experience like?
Well, tension.
There was just like a tension, a feeling, so more of a feeling.
And I actually came in with tension, so it was kind of like
Mhm.
it kind of just drew to where that tension was.
It just drew right into the tension. Okay, so you've got this tension. So anybody else? One more. This is just helping the people who are still having a hard time finding something. Okay.
Kind of a feeling in the back of my head too. It's kind of like it was a glass room.
Like a glass room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the observation room, right? The observation deck of the Enterprise or something like that, right? Yeah. So so this can show up in a bunch of different ways. So what I'm going to have you do. What's that?
Mine was distraction.
Oh yeah, that's right. The restroom come up, down the hall. So just real quick, we're going to go through and we're going to do this. We're going to do this one more time, and let's just see what you can find. But this time, what we're going to do is we're going to have you center in on the problem that you just brought up. If you still have it, if it's dissolved and it's gone, for 4 of you, it was probably gone, right? So for those of you that still have something left, bring up the awareness of the problem, and then find the part of your mind that's observing the problem. Okay. So this will take just a minute. So go ahead and close your eyes. Center your attention. Breathe in, breathe out. Ground your attention, center your attention. Become aware of the present moment. Fully present. And then reach out with your awareness. And invite into your awareness now the feeling of the problem or the feeling of the emotion that you're experiencing, the memory, the thought, whatever's there. And then once that's there, once you've got the emotion up, just nod your head so I know you're with me. And that's most of you. Now, while you're paying attention to this, notice there's a part of you that feels it or experiences it in some way, and then there's a part of you that's observing it. And find the part of your mind that's observing the problem, that's observing the feeling. And just the part of you that's observing that, just notice where that is. And then notice how you represent that. Is it more of a feeling? Is it something you're seeing or hearing? And just briefly open up your eyes, make eye contact. Excuse me, make eye contact with me once you find it. How many of you found something that time in observing self? Okay, by show of hands. Okay, that looks like 90% of you. Okay, cool. So we don't need to rehash what the experience was like. What we're going to do now is we're going to do the same thing that we did just a minute ago, but rather than doing it on the problem, we're going to send the observing self out into our field of expanded awareness. We're just going to imagine that observing self dissolving. Okay, or sometimes it's easier to imagine that observing self expanding and filling up the whole field of the awareness. And so that's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and run through the whole process together. Does that sound good? So once again, feet flat on the floor. This is the second maneuver. We're going to do at least 3. And one of them is likely to work better for you than the other ones. And that's fine. Just whatever works is fine. And whatever doesn't work is fine too. We're just exploring and noticing what's working. So go ahead and center your awareness. Vicki, could you get up and shut that outside door? Thank you. Center your awareness. Let's go through the CAPE process. Become aware of your body from head to toe. Fully present. reach out with your awareness and expand out. Just imagine your awareness expanding out as far as you can make it go. Just noticing that there's no real edge to the awareness. Once your awareness is expanded out as far as it can go, nod your head. That's right. Good. You're doing really well. Now bring up the feeling of the problem. Again, notice how you represent that, whether it's a feeling, an image, a memory, a thought, an awareness. Once you have that awareness of the problem, nod your head. Now find the part of the mind that's observing the problem. It's the part of you that's not experiencing it. It's the part of you that's watching it or witnessing it, observing it. Nod your head when you've got that. And notice that that awareness has some size, some shape, some dimension, some color perhaps, in or around the body. And now allow the observer, the observing self, the observing mind to step out from the body into the field of your awareness. And you can do this all in the imagination, just imagining that part of yourself going out. And then one of two things, either letting it dissolve into the field of awareness, or alternately, allowing it to expand and to fill up your field of awareness. This is the observing self. Take as much time as you need. When that process is done, just open your eyes, but take all the time you need. Mindful of the people around you, knowing that everybody's taking a little different time to get that done. This particular innovation just came about recently. There was a gal named Connie Ray Andreas who started playing rather than with the problem, with the observing self. So we give her full credit for coming up with this particular maneuver. But now that most of you are back, what I'd like to hear from you is, I'd like to hear, who had a different experience in the first round. So working on the problem from working on the observer, just raise your hand if the experience was different somehow. Okay, so about 2/3 of you. Tell me, how was it different? What did you, getting, knowing that there's no right or wrong, what just happened?
So part of me kind of didn't want to hurt the observing self, like that's supposed to be there.
It felt like it was going to hurt it?
Yeah, just
Okay,
like
interesting.
can't mess with that, then you don't observe anything.
Okay.
And then it did kind of dissolve, and then it's like I can't even imagine the original problem anymore.
Okay, so that's interesting. So when you first were like resistant against letting go, and like, oh, am I going to hurt my observing self?
Yeah,
Right.
I didn't care about the problem, but just
You were like, am I going to damage my brain or something
Right.
like that, right? Fortunately, there's no brain damage and you're okay. I probably should have talked about that at the beginning.
We should check that.
Yeah, we should check that. I think he's okay though. So, but once it finally let go, it's like the observing self dissolved and the problem went away. Right? Did that happen to anybody else? Raise your hand if that happened. Okay, so that happened to 2 others.
Did we want to dissolve the observing self because that's the person, that's the thing that's observing, and if we don't observe, then we don't have the issue.
Really what we're doing is we're helping you return to a point of just pure awareness.
We didn't lose my observing.
You're not learning, you're not losing your observing self. In fact, go look for it right now. Is it back?
Yeah.
Did it change?
Mine sort of went back further.
Yeah, so it changed. It's like back a little bit further. So when mine changed, mine was behind the heart, and it started off like a pair of eyes, and then it turned into a little point of light. That's what happened to me. Now, is that wrong? But what was really interesting to me is that when I did this, much like Brady in the back, is that like the feeling of the problem was gone, completely gone. Now, this is not the only response. Now, sometimes it won't be completely gone, but it will be like softened somehow. How many of you had a softening, but not a going away? Raise your hand if it at least softened. Raise your hand. That's like 2/3 of the room. Okay, is that amazing? Could you do that on your own yet? Yeah, maybe. Okay, maybe not. If you're here today, and if you're in internet land, you got to email us. Let me know. utah.hypnosis@gmail.com. That's hypnosis is spelled HYPNOSIS. Okay, email us and ask us for the audio from today. If you're actually watching this, we'll send it to you, as long as the audio comes out. Okay, and then you can fast forward to, let's see, let's look at it here. Right around to the minute mark that we're at, and you can repeat the process. Because it looks like this one is one that's going to work for most people. That's about an hour. If we go back to about an hour, that's about right on the recording. Now the recording is going to be raw and unfiltered, so you'll just hear whatever's going on in class. But that's a good one. Okay, so yay for Connie. Let's everyone round of applause for Connie Ray. She calls that the wholeness process, and she sets it up a little bit differently than I do, but it's the same basic maneuver. Okay, so the next one, we're going to do something just a little bit different. Okay, rather than focusing in on the observing self, what we're going to do is we're going to imagine something divine. And if you don't like that, then you can imagine something that is special to you, okay, or something that represents wholeness or love, right? And if you can't think of anything, like a beautiful light would do, okay? Anybody here have an objection to imagining something divine? Want an honest answer? No? Okay. Okay. So divine, what does that mean? It means whatever you want it to mean, okay? For some of you, it may be God. For some of you, it may be a different higher power. For some of you, maybe like your highest self, right? That's fine. So whatever you're imagining, that's fine. But what we're going to do is we're going to expand out your awareness, and then I'm going to have you become aware of the divine. And as you become aware of the divine, what you're going to do is you're going to take this problem or a new problem, and you're going to send it into the divine. And then I'll guide you through it from there. Does that sound good? And if that divine is like an angel or a being or a deity, send it up to the deity, send it up to the angel, and then we'll coach you from there. If it's just a light, just send it into the light. Okay, everybody with me? So everyone, same thing. We're going to start off with the CAPE process. Okay, feet flat on the floor. And if you're not okay doing this, just kind of breathe and expand your awareness out. Okay, so I give you permission to not participate if you don't want to, but as long as you're not opposed to it, try it out. See what happens. Even if you don't know what you believe in, just imagine some divine light, and it'll be good for you. Okay, so let's start off with the CAPE process. Start off by centering the awareness. Incidentally, the CAPE process is a process in and of itself. If you just practice that about once an hour, you would find your stress and anxiety levels dropping significantly. Okay, so center your awareness in your breath. Connect to your body as well. Eyes open, eyes closed, doesn't matter. Most people prefer to have their eyes closed, but some people like to keep their eyes open. It's up to you. And become aware of your body, scanning your body from the top of your head down to the tips of your toes. Become fully present. Bring your attention all the way here, right here, the right now. Now expand out your awareness. You already know how to do this, so just reach out with your 5 senses and imagine the field of your awareness. And now, imagine the divine, whatever that is for you. Sometimes it's nice just to allow the image of the divine or the experience of the divine to show up. Just invite it in and notice what's there. Allowing yourself to be pleasantly surprised by what shows up. Knowing that it may be something that you're seeing, maybe something you're hearing, maybe something you're feeling, or maybe something beyond the five senses that you just know is there. Give me a little head nod when you know it's there. Good. That's right. Now notice that your internal experience of the divine has some shape, has some location, may have some color, but you're experiencing it somewhere, somehow. And while you're inviting the divine to be there with you, or in you, or around you, wherever it is, bring awareness into a problem that you'd like to change now. Notice if it's a memory, it might be an image, maybe someone's voice, maybe a thought, maybe a tension or a tightness in the body. But once you've connected with the feeling of the problem, or the emotion or the thought, nod your head. Yeah. Now send that into the divine. And allow that thought, that emotion, that experience to go into the divine. Perhaps even dissolving into the divine. Take all the time you need, and when that's done, nod your head. Take all the time you need. Maybe it doesn't dissolve into the divine. Maybe the divine transforms it or just holds on to it for you. I'll take care of that. But when you're done with that phase, just nod your head. There's one more phase. Give me a little head nod. Okay. That's most of you. Just from the divine, ask for a gift of healing to help you move beyond this problem, this obstacle, this thought, this memory. And just allow yourself to receive a gift from the divine. Something unique for you, something special for you, to help you heal, to help you grow, to help you change. And just allow yourself to receive that gift fully and completely. When you're ready to bring it back to the outside world, you can open up your eyes. But take all the time you want, all the time you need. Being respectful of the people around you, knowing that everybody moves at a little different pace. Okay, I think that's everybody. Process that I created, and there's no right or wrong response to this. I'm assuming the reason I'm teaching 3 techniques is that I'm assuming that people are going to like different ones. I use the first one. I use that all the time, and I get great results with it. Right? It is not as thorough as the last one that I just did, but it works real easy. I learned it. I created it by listening to one of my meditation teachers describe what he does with things, and he gave a talk one day about taking knots and dissolving them. Right? The second process is kind of a modification of Connie Ray Andreas's work. And then the last is based on an experience that I had in meditation that I turned into a process. But just, again, I'd like to know, what was your experience like? There's no right or no right or wrong. Some of you may have had a profound experience. Some of you may have hated the process. Some of you may have had nothing happen, right? But what was your experience like? What just happened?
Yeah, I gave the problem away. I didn't know whether he kept it or dissolved it or whatever. It just didn't come back. And then a great feeling of peace and love.
So you had a feeling of peace and love, and he has a color change in his face as he describes that. So it must have been pretty good.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, what came back? As he described it, there was a nice shift in color there. Who else had an interesting experience with that? Something you'd like to share?
I was doing the problem way. It was like it ripped away from me, like it threw me back almost.
It threw you back?
Yeah.
In what way?
Just kind of like, I don't know, letting go of it just kind of created an explosion or something. Just I don't know how else to describe it, but
it was profound.
yeah.
Have you decided yet if it was good or bad?
It was good.
It was good.
Yeah.
Okay, it was a good. Okay, good. Okay, so it was a good explosion, and it felt like, whoa, it was really profound.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else have a different experience?
For me, it's like my divine is usually like a lighted tree. This time was more Christmas tree type, probably because of the holidays.
The holidays. Sure.
But as I was picturing it, it kept moving farther and farther and farther away.
So it was like running from you.
Yeah. So it was really hard to send my problem there.
Yeah.
I could barely see it.
It was like you were having a hard time connecting
Yeah,
with
but
your
I-
divine.
But it did go, and I got a lightning bolt back.
Cool.
So
Zeus.
yeah.
Right? Or Percy Jackson or something, right? Or no, like whatever the bad guy was in the first Percy Jackson movie. So awesome. So you got something back. And I'm not minimizing your experience. I have this brain that works that way.
Right.
So you had the tree was moving where you're like, oh no, but then you were able to finally send it out.
It took a while.
It took a little bit.
But I could watch it like seemed like it was in space, like very slowly going.
Slowly. So it wasn't like running from you. It was like just slowly moving away. And then you got a lightning bolt back.
Yeah.
Was there an emotional change with the lightning bolt? Or not sure yet?
Not sure yet.
Not sure yet. Yeah. How many of you got some sort of emotional release doing that process? Raise your hand up. Okay, that's again that's 3/4 of the room. How many of you got nothing? Raise your hand. Be honest. Okay, we got anybody with nothing? Okay, we got one with nothing. Okay, that's okay. It's okay to have it. So now, out of the 3, do you have a preference for one technique that'll work for you? Okay. Has everybody at least got something, at least if it was just even an interesting experience, right? Saying, well, none of these things work for me or whatever, right? Okay, so we got most of you guys, right? So everybody had an interesting experience. Now, from a practice, these are all designed to be practices rather than one-time events. So what I recommend that you do with these, there are hypnotic techniques that we can use to radically and quickly change an emotion. None of these are one of those techniques, okay? These are all designed to be practices that you bring home and you practice over and over and over again. And especially if you have a bigger problem, could you bring the same problem in? Like, let's say that it was the divine process that worked for you, okay? For a couple of you, it probably was. You just take your problem, you meditate on it, you breathe into it, you establish your expanded awareness, then you imagine your divine problem, send it in, get a gift. What, 5 minutes? And you just did that day after day for a month or something like that. How many of you think that your problem would change pretty significantly if that process worked for you? Yeah, right? Now, if it didn't work for you, you'd pick one of the 3 processes that worked for you, or you would go find another process that worked. So I'm a pretty practical guy. So when I work with clients one-on-one in the office, part of my job is to help people match up with a process that actually works for them. And if none of these work for you, no biggie, let's find a 4th one, right? There's like 1,000 techniques that I know of, and there's more, I'm sure, that are out there. And all of them will work with somebody. The reason there's lots of techniques is because there's a lot of different personalities, and everybody needs something a little bit different. And what works for you might not be the thing that works for. How do you guys know each other?
We were friends. I kind of adopted her.
You adopted her, so she's
I
like
did.
adopted mom.
She is.
Okay.
She is.
Okay, so your adopted mom, she's gonna have a different set of needs than you have, right?
Yes.
And your needs are gonna be totally different than yours. So hopefully everyone found at least one thing that you can practice. Let's see what our time's like. We're probably getting close to the time when we want to button this up and wind it down. It's give me like 10 minutes, and by 10 minutes we'll be all the way done. But whether you liked one of these 3 processes or not, the CAPE process is a great process to use just to calm down. How many of you notice that you calm down just by doing the CAPE process? Okay, it's like everybody doing it. And especially by the time you did it 3 or 4 times, it's like just doing the centering, grounding stuff is profound. In the last 10 years, there have been more than 10,000 research papers on processes, not the CAPE process, because this is a little acronym that I invented to help people remember what to do, but on processes like this, centering, grounding, meditation type exercises. 10,000 peer-reviewed research papers. And guess what? The evidence at this point is overwhelming. These things have a massive impact on your brain over time. Just doing a process like this for a total of 5 minutes a day, even if you do it in 1-minute chunks or 30-second chunks, will change the shape of your brain and make it more resilient against stress and anxiety. Okay, who thinks that's pretty cool? So I tricked you, right? I tricked you by thinking that you were learning something else, and here's our 4th process, right? So even if you didn't like any of the 3 guided meditations that we did, we've got you something right away that you can use in 30-second chunks. So I think that everybody should meditate like a Himalayan monk in 1-minute chunks, okay? But you don't have to do it for like hours and hours. You can just do it real quick, center, aware, present, expand your awareness. Now here's the other reason that I like this particular version of this process rather than an eyes closed process where your eyes have to be closed. You can do this one, probably not driving, not yet, okay? But you could probably like sit with your fingertips on the keyboard at work and space out for a second, right? Or not space out, you're tuning in is really what you're doing, right? Nobody knows that you've just taken a journey, right? I've expanded my awareness to Pluto, right? You know, I'm out in outer space somewhere. So you can literally take a little break for a minute at a time and nobody wonders where you are. You're just thinking, right? Who thinks that's cool? Yeah, raise your hand. Okay. See, secret agenda, right? Practice the CAPE process 5 times or whatever we did today. So hopefully you'll all take that home with you. And then if any of the guided meditations worked for you, that's fantastic. If they didn't, if you really said, I didn't really get any value out of any of the guided pieces, there's other techniques to work through. And one of the things that I do is every 2 weeks, I teach a free class. The reason that I teach these is I really genuinely want to help people. I am okay if you come back to all of my free classes. I really am. I try to rotate through different topics. So like last week, we didn't do any guided meditation, or not last week, but last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, there was no guided meditation at all. I was teaching more of a cognitive technique, a thinking-based technique to change negative thoughts. On the 7th of January, I think is our next one. I'm going to pick a topic right now.
Weight loss.
Okay, so we'll talk about weight loss. We'll talk about the mind basis for weight loss. Okay. Yep.
2 people are coming to that.
Okay.
Perfect.
I know it'll be exciting. And if we run out of room, this room will hold about 30 people. But if we run out of room in this room, we've got another room that holds like 50. Okay. So feel free to invite people. We don't have to be constrained by space. We can find another space to operate out of if we need to. And the room downstairs is a little more cozy. So if we have a smaller group, we just go down into my office and we operate out of there. But we'll do weight loss, and we're going to be talking about the mind side of weight loss because, like, if you want a good diet, pick one, right? There's a bunch of them, and they all work, right? The research is overwhelming. I think it was 2005-ish. It was 2004. There was a paper in the New England Journal of Medicine where they compared major diets, and they were looking to see if one outperformed the other. No, none of them outperformed the other. For over 6 months, there's a variation in results, but past 6 months, there's no difference in result one diet to another. So if you're looking at weight loss, there's no difference in diet. But what is the difference? What the New England Journal of Medicine said is, can people stay on a diet?
It's our mindset.
Yeah, which is back into managing your thoughts and your emotions. Could you use the processes we talked about today to help manage your thoughts and emotions around weight loss? Sure, but I'm going to teach you some things that are more specific. We'll teach you some different tools next time around. Isn't that cool? Okay.
You can't come.
You can't come.
No, I'll be in Disney World.
You know what though? I will probably, unless something happens, I will be broadcasting this on Internet Land. Hello, people. Okay, so you can always attend via live stream. It's the best experience will always be to come to class. You always get more when you do. But if you can't because you're somewhere else, and if you're Disneyland, you might just want to like check out.
Disney World, even better.
Oh, even better, even better. I'm with you. I would be with Mickey if I were in Disney World myself. Okay. So one of the ways to keep on connecting back is to come back to free classes. As many as you'd like to come to. If the topic interests you, you come back. We do it about every 2 weeks. If you lose track of us somehow, you can call up the office, 801-203-3405. I'll write that down. and you can ask us, when's your next free class and what's the topic? And you can come back, and I really, really, really am totally okay with it if you just come to the free classes and that's all the interaction you have with me. This is my way of giving back to the community, okay? So 801-203-3405, there's an 800 number. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Now, when I'm away from home for a long period of time,
Yeah.
it seems like I can manage my weight and do really
Yeah.
good. Then when I get back home,
You have a hard time?
yeah, and then when I go away from home again for a period of time, I can.
You do okay?
Now what's?
Well, I'll tell you what. I want you to bring that class back with you on the 7th, okay?
Is there
There is a cure.
I've wondered, why is it? I need to go again.
Yeah. I know, that's the secret. You go like visit India or somewhere and have people starve. You'll be fine, right?
Oh, no, you don't get starved.
No, you don't get starved. So you can call the office and find out when the next class is if you don't know, but the 7th is the next one. The web address that you're at right now, northernutahhypnosis.com/live stream is that address. The other way to get free stuff, who likes free stuff? Raise your hand if you like free stuff. The other way to get free stuff from me is to go to that's 3 W's, .will, like my first name, Will, and Christian. I'm not going to be able to make this all in one line. Christian.com. Christian is my podcasting partner. So we have a podcast, and we've got, I think, 140 episodes. Not all of them are up on the blog, but a lot of them are, okay? And so you can go there. You can subscribe on iTunes. You can subscribe on SoundCloud, or you can just put your email in there, and we'll email you we're supposed to once a week, but every week or two, and kind of let you know, hey, there's some new episodes up, right? We podcast 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And we release little short, focused episodes to help you with your mind, your heart, your emotions, and they're awesome. They're awesome. We've got lots of great content out there. So these are the free ways to connect with me. Now, for some of you, you're going to want more help. You're going to want more individualized help, and you're going to want to come in and do that either in a group setting or in a one-on-one setting. So let me talk just real briefly about a class that I got coming up on the 15th, I think is when we decided to have it. So on January 15th, a lot of people are focusing in on goals. And they might be right at the beginning of a sabotage pattern. So there's a reason I put it on the 15th and not the 1st, okay? So what I have is I have a full day training on goal setting, and I'm going to teach we're going to spend about half the day on goal setting and about half the day on mindset tools to deal with the mind and heart so that you can actually stay on track to get your goal. And this is a really, really inexpensive way to come in and to get some help. The class is $97 usually for a class like this. I actually signed the first class like this that I signed up for. I think I paid $1,000 for a one-day goal setting workshop out in California. Yeah, that's something. So I mean, I could be rating $1,000 up here on the board, but it's not $1,000. And today, right? If you want to buy it today, I'll give you a discount. Okay, is that cool? Everybody like discounts? So if by the end of today, midnight tonight, if you want to buy it, $47. We'd love to have you come to the class. That's a whole day workshop. There'll be probably, I don't know, a few other people. I think we've got 4 or 5 that have already committed to come. And so it'll be in a room like this one, or maybe the one downstairs, and start at 9 in the morning and go till 5:30 at night. So if you want that, that's 24-hour, but not quite a 24-hour discount till midnight tonight, Mountain Time discount. This is for Internet Land too. And today is the 8th if you're doing a replay. Okay. So if not, 97, you can certainly come to the class. We'd love to have you. Either way. And then one more thing. Certainly, if you want one-on-one sessions, you're welcome to just contact the office about those, and we can get you connected with a consultation to make sure that there's a good fit. A couple of CDs. I'm not really going to go over what they're all about, but we've got one on the power of words. We've got one on a relaxation process to help beat stress. We've got one that is on forgiveness. And there's some of you out there that struggle with forgiveness and forgiving people. There's a guided meditation on these two. There's none on the word CD. And then this is one on dealing with life's anxieties. call it Walking with Mosquitoes. And this one actually has one of the processes, two of the processes that we did. It has the CAPE process and it has the last process that we did tonight. And so all of these are available for sale, and you can buy any of them tonight for $15 or all of them for, let's see, $65. How's that? Okay. That applies to internet people too. If you hear this, you can get that discount. It's December 8th for 24 hours. Discount stands. And all of these are usually priced at $25. So it's a nice little discount. And those are ways to get some good help. All of these are, I think the shortest one of these is about 40 minutes, and most of them are somewhere between 50 and 90. So it's like doing a full session with me. Lots of good material. So you've got lots of ways to connect with me. I'd love to connect with you any way you'd like, and we'll hang out for a minute. I'm going to turn off the mic. We'll probably turn off the cameras, and I'll answer any questions you've got. And if you have questions from Internet Land, ask me on Facebook. I'll be happy to get back to you here in a little bit. If you want the recording, shoot us an email at utah.hypnosis@gmail.com. So big round of applause, everyone. Let's go ahead and end it off. And Vicki can take your orders if you'd like to order something. If not, come hang out, come ask me a question, and that'd be great.
What time is it?